So again, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking time to answer a few of our questions. Let's begin with a brief introduction of yourself, your role, and about your company.
Thank you for hosting us. Well, we started in 2019 in Colombia to scale our operation and acquire more land. And in 2020 was the launch of our operation. I joined it a few years after as a shareholder and very interested in our growth plan going forward, carrying the message to the investors more on the corporate development side. But basically, our operation has been all organic, focused on taking a significant land package in Colombia into reaching 100,000 ounce production.
As a participant in the Nordic Funds Mines event, what are your key objectives in attending this event? And what are you hoping will this event contribute to your company's main goals within the mining industry, the mining sector?
Well, I tip my hat to the organization of this conference. We've met very good people. Also timing perfectly with the all-time high gold price reaching. Definitely as good timing as per se. Coming here, we were interested in meeting a new audience of shareholders, potential shareholders, and a few shareholders were telling us about our company to come here. So, word of mouth, introduction, and this is how we kind of end up here. And I'm really impressed with the audience we've been meeting.
In light of recent geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruptions, how do you hope your company will ensure now or in the future resource security and maintain its competitive advantage within the global market?
I tend to foresee, let's say, the ESG and the entire supply chain for every company being a challenge, but being proactive is the main item on every front. So we have all the measures over the years, and we've been repeating those protocols to ensure the viability of the operation. So since we started, within 6 months, we've repaid the acquisition price, and we've been profitable ever since, growing through cash flow and making sure labor and all the key critical items have been lined up for us. So it's not a secret sauce. It's to care 24/7 about what you're doing. I'd say, with humility, there's no more management that cares more about what we do than us, due to our involvement in our ownership of the company. We're highly incentivized for finding solutions to challenges all the time.
With the growing focus on ESG within the mining industry, how are you leveraging this conference to showcase your company's initiatives to the Nordic investment community, as we're in Sweden, known for a strong emphasis on responsible investing?
Well, we have a very serious target of becoming a net zero mine by next year. And the first measures we've did since is planting a minimum of 5,000 trees per year, as an example. Involve ourselves with the local communities, having agricultural programs, school programs, and we've built our own run-by-the-river hydro dam. So we built it in a way that diesel was a minimal component of our mining operation rather than a major component. And being proactive, we're a Canadian standard company, not a Latin America standard company. So, and nothing to do but first tier world, security, health, are all important aspects. So again, it comes at the forefront of being proactive and to be at the highest standards, always operating at the highest standards.
For those unfamiliar, can you elaborate on your current production capacity or your current production profile and the potential impact it has on your overall resource base?
So we grow our production in relation with our resource development and resource increase. So the strategy was to grow the resource, increase development, impacting the mining capacity, production capacity. So we've came from a 16,000 ounce production profile back when we started to today aiming for 45,000 ounce in the next year, aiming to that first large goal of 100,000 ounce. And a financial metric we can keep is at $2,100 gold, which we're far higher than there, but as a basic number, we should make about $1,000 EBITDA and a $500 per ounce profit. So last year, as an example, we produced 32,000 ounce. We did 31.8 million EBITDA and 11.5 million profit. So it was a strong year. It was a stepping stone year for next year, increasing that amount of ounces again. So this year we're focused on increasing development and resource. And next year we're going to harvest that bump into the production profile.
Your recent drilling campaigns, in particular at the Cordero Mine, have yielded some impressive results. How have these findings fit into your overall strategy for resource expansion and the near-term production for growth across the Colombian assets?
The new discovery is a, let's say, game changer, or increase the thesis that there's more to find on our projects. We are down to a vertical depth of about 250 meters, which sounds maybe deep, but in the scheme of things, our next door neighbor, Aris Mining, is now down to 2.5 kilometer vertical. So we're about a tenth of their footprint in terms of vertical. And now finding a parallel vein, instead of going at depth for growth, we're just going in parallel. So let's just say that this discovery as game changer is a sweet art, and it just boosts the future economics and the future potential of Cordero.
Soma Gold has been expanding its footprint, in particular along the O2 fault system. May you elaborate on the current exploration strategy for this extensive land package and how you're prioritizing the targets for future drilling?
This is a key aspect of our growth strategy. Again, increasing resource push us into bigger and higher production rates. So yes, the O2 fault land package was highly fragmented, owned by multiple different owners, and it's been a task that we've embarked in the beginning to consolidate that fault and that extension of the Cordero and the El Limon. As a result, today we have 4 mines, 3 that are permitted, 1 that we're working on the permits, that we hope we have permits next year to operate, and that's the Nietzsche mine, which in the projections, it's not even embedded in our forecast yet. So we have tremendous growth opportunities through the El Limon, and as a timing today, we just announced the dewatering of El Limon and a surface drill campaign, because we did intercept another parallel vein there. So yes, it is in our corporate strategy, and now we've secured 400 square kilometers of land, which is substantial along that fault.
With operations at the El Bagre gold mining complex and ongoing exploration, like the projects I just mentioned at the Nietzsche and O2, how are you balancing capital allocation between sustaining current production and funding exploration activities? In addition, what's your approach to optimizing returns across your portfolio?
It's a fine balance of everything, right? Because every parties in the company are raising their hands to get that budget. And of course, we need to allocate timely to sustain that growth. So there's no, again, secret sauce. The more money we make, the bigger the growth can be generated. But also, as many investors, and we are here to hear what's best for them and supply them what's best. A lot of investors want to have a return in capital. So we hope we can generate that return in capital by issuing dividends in the next little while, and we're at the doorstep, we believe, to that. Without pushing things too forward, reaching 1 million ounce resource is an important target for us. We're right now sitting at 500,000. We're targeting a new resource estimate, the 43101 standard, coming next year. That will help for investors to see where we are and where we time the growth, maintaining that 10-year mine life. So right now we're announcing drilling. Yes, there's a push towards exploration. Generating ounces on the resource will enable us to boost that production again. And so allocation this year, resource focused. Next year, once the resource is set, the budget will probably shift into development, less resource expansion, and then production development, coming back to resource, repushing it again. So it's not a specific timeline. We need to see where the pockets of money needs to go, but it's kind of a sequence.
Soma Gold has been actively engaging with local communities as part of its ESG program, in particular with the Manchuca property area. Can you elaborate on your community engagement strategies and how they support your long-term operational goals within Colombia?
We touch a bit on it on the ESG side, but it is for every mining company now as a responsibility and a fiduciary duty to come in a country, in a province, in a city, or even if it's close or far, it's a responsibility for everybody in this community as miners or exploration to be proactive. Depending on the scale you are, you need to scale the footprint of your umbrella of actions. And each year, we're trying to give more for the community. So it's hard to come just with one single aspect. I think we've touched on several of them, but it's to keep having the vision and hearing what the community needs, right? And because yes, we do pay royalties and tax to the government there, and that's a significant amount of return for the country. But it's not to think that the policymakers and the government decision makers really watershed the money into that community. So most of the time, it is so spread that nobody really feel it, where that money goes. So it's to be impactful with the, let's say, the best return on your capital to the community. And it's not always money. Most of the time, it's actions.
As I said before, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, and it's wonderful to learn more about your company and your base of operations. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck at the rest of the event.
All the best. Thank you.